everyone. Myself Abhinav Gupta, or today we will talk about what generally client expects from an interior designer. So before starting the session, I would like to thank you, each one of you, first of all, because for the response which I have been receiving and the kind of interest which I have been receiving from the students and my followers also. I am really happy that my videos are helping you out, and from you guys only when I receive multiple requests in terms of to put down the questions and then to give a session over the questions only. I'm really feeling overwhelmed with the questions and queries which you guys are putting up across to me, and I will be happily and would be glad to answer them all for you. For the same thing, I have recently floated down the Google form as well, which I will be putting shortly on my YouTube channel also, which is Interior Huddle. The channel name is Interior Huddle, which you search on Google or on directly on YouTube, you will find the channel. And there you will find a Google form on which you can ask any type of query relevant to interior designing. Even if you are a student, if you are in a college, if you're in a school, and you are planning to become an interior designer in future, you can put down your queries over there in the form itself, and I will be try my level best to answer it. Even if I'm not knowing the answer, I would be trying to find out the answer for you, and then we'll be answering it for you. And the query form which I am expecting from each one of you is in terms of that, even if you are a business owner, like even a construction business, or even if let's say you are struggling with how to expand the business, how to build the business, how to build a team, like very basic questions also. Whatever experience, whatever expertise I am having, still I'm however learning the process, but whatever knowledge I am carrying with myself, I will try to answer it from my level best, and I hope that would be helpful to you. So today, my question, as I started with, uh, the very general question which I think most of the time designers are struggling, or even customers or clients are also struggling, is expectation match. So what are the expectations of a client from the designer? This is something which we need to understand really very well, which is actually very, very important to understand what customer expects from a designer. This is one thing, and how to match those expectations. And even if those expectations are not justified, how to make the client realize about them without offending them. And if something can be done with a mind, you can say minor negotiation, then how this negotiation should happen. So this is what my session will be about today. So let's start uh, the session. And as I already said, I will be uploading all of my videos on YouTube channel, so you can watch out through them. And once you are clear, once you are having any queries, you can put down in the comments. And apart from that, if still the queries you want that should be answered personally, so you can also, or anonymously, so you can fill up the Google form, and I will again record the video for answering those questions, and then we'll be uploading the same. Sure. And so let's start with so when we talk about what is client's expectations, why client expects that much or this much, or how client generally set up the expectations, how these expectations are basically built up. So what happens generally as a human nature, as a human tendency, when let's say we want to have a, let's say I am a client and I am planning to get my home interior done. So I would be starting with somehow searching for Google. Yes, I want to clarify this now to each one of you. So we are not living in the era where people used to search for carpenters, where people used to go outside to see if there is any carpenter uh, working in local, and I should hire that for interior work. So even customers are getting a lot of awareness that there is a huge difference between a carpenter based work and interior designer based work. So this is somehow a kind of fine line which is already being drawn. Now we need to only, you can say, make it prominent. That is the only thing required. So first of all, as a interior designer, as a interior design consultant, or as an interior stylist, you need to first of all understand that client is already have a gist of that, yes, there is a difference, or there would be a difference in interior based designer based work and carpenter based work. You just need to shed some more light on it. Now, while starting with the things, first of all, you need to be extremely professional. You need to be well groomed, carrying yourself very properly. It should never be like that you are talking too casually, or you are reacting like that as if you are least bothered about customers' pain, or you are not. You need to first of all show the interest. Okay, when client is coming to you, even if they are your neighbor, if they are your acquaintances, if they are from some reference, you need to show that yes, you have a kind of attitude, the kind of personal attitude. It does not matter that if you are going to get higher or not. That is something very secondary. The primary thing, the very first thing, when client is giving you a call, or when client is connecting with you for the very first time, first of all, see, first behavior is first reaction, like first impression is the last impression, as we say. So client would be judging you a lot over with the kind of communication, with the kind of, you can say, behavior impression which you will be giving them for the very first 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. That is extremely important. Now, when they are calling you, let's say it is a phone call, you should be definitely sounding like a welcoming person for them. It should not be like that, yes, you are in hurry, or you are in, it might be possible you are in already in a meeting. Okay. So you can definitely put it across that yes, you are in an ongoing meeting and you will be give them a call back. Now, you are, first of all, when committing that I will be giving you a call back, then there should be a precise and defined time for giving the call back. You definitely would be having an idea that the meeting which is already going on, how much time would it be taking. Once this is done, after this, you put the reminder to yourself, or you can even drop a message to yourself that after how much time you will be giving the call back to the client, and the same time should be given to the customer with some buffer. If you are okay with that, okay, your meeting is going to get over within 40 minutes or 45 minutes, you will tell the client that you will be calling them back in an hour. And everything while doing this, always remember, wear a smile. So even when you're talking on the phone, if you're wearing the smile, that is going to be there in your voice. Believe me, it works. Yes, it works. So if you are smiling even while speaking, that will be adding a lot to your communication which you are putting across. Second thing is, don't always be think that don't your expectation should also be like in the manner of that, might be possible this might be a general query, this might be a renovation project, this might be a small value project as well, where client has got your reference from one of his friends and he is seeking some advice from you. Now, how I'm definitely trying to put it across that sometimes it happens that we are already indulged in a lot of big projects, or let's say we are doing already many projects, but when we get a call of a small renovation, let's say customer is saying that I'm having already pre-existing 2 3 wardrobes, I want to get their shutter change. Now sometimes, in fact I should say most of the times, designers tends to get irritated with these kind of calls. I want to ask very simple question, which I think you should be answering to yourself. Don't you think the customer who is today calling you for 2 3 wardrobes repair, I would call it, can never call you for the construction of his new home, for the construction interior of his new home in future, because only because of the reason that you have behaved rightly with him, irrespective of you have served him or not. It is very simple. I am putting it very straight away. Irrespective of are you going to serve him for 2 3 wardrobe repairs or not, but how are you going to behave with the person? This matters a lot. This is totally fine that you do not take the work of repair, but putting it across to the customer in the right manner is very important. Okay, this is the very first thing I would like to put across, because I have seen many designers, many contractors, many turnkey contractors not communicating this rightly into the customer, and this generally leads to a dissatisfaction, or you can say even client is saying that okay, this person has now making my decision making easy, because you are not behaving rightly. See, this is what customer expects from a professional person. They are not taking you as a carpenter. That is the reason they have this expectation from you, that you will be at least behaving rightly with them. And I think this is not at all a wrong expectation. So always remember, you are communicating rightly, you are behaving rightly. It should be a well-mannered and well, you can say customized and well channelized communication, that okay, this is the reason because of which I would not be able to take this job. Now, if it is possible for you, try to arrange some substitute instead of you. If you have any reference, if you have any link through which you can get the job done, then provide that. But what my intention is overall, that try to appear to be a helpful and supportive person to the customer, to the client. You never know that that simple repair job can actually lead you to a huge prospect of a huge work or huge project. I have actually faced this, and I have taken a lot of big projects because of these situations and these kind of communications only. Recently, even I received, just for an example, I'm putting across. Recently, in 2022, and I received a query from a customer who was calling me, and who has actually met me 7 years back. In 2015, he met me, and he could not get his job done for some reason because of his possession delayed and all. After that, he could not get the job done, and he rented out the property. Now, after 7 years, he has purchased a new property for which he called me up and said that I want to get the job done. Now, I am actually into different city. So still, but when I asked him that, okay, what kind of job he is seeking, he only said to me that, okay, if you cannot do it, provide me any reference or link. Or I actually put it across to him that, sir, do you mind if I would be providing you any reference which can be getting your job done? And he was only like, yes, it will be really helpful to me. So this is what I'm trying to put across, that always show yourself as a supportive person. That way you will always retain with the confidence. You will always be retaining the customer's confidence. So this is extremely important. Now, what will be happening? So while I was communicating with this client, in spite of I'm not doing his work directly, okay, might be possible my reference would be closing the deal, or might be possible not be closing the deal. But I have put in customer's mind, in my client's mind, that I am into this city. You got to try to understand this. Now, let's say after months or so, or 6 months, his job is getting done through any XYZ person. And his one of the office colleague asked him that I want to get my interior done. And that colleague is actually residing in, let's say, my city, my current city. So this is how I think, that it is nowhere impossible that that colleague who is taking the reference and my customer is actually putting across that if possible, you are in that city, and in that city, Abhinav is there. You should at least once connect with him. Okay, to understand. So this is how this industry works. If because I am only retaining my customers' confidence with me, that is how this industry is going to give you a lot of business, and you can say a cyclic business. So this is how this industry would be working, because this is pure B2C. When we talk about B2C, so you have huge possibilities of designing, and definitely it will be coming up only with when your customers are believing in you, when your customers are actually finding you different from other people in terms of behavior, in terms of understanding their query, in terms of showing more interest towards their work. That is how they actually will be able to you can say nurture more confidence with you. Now, this was about the communication, about the behavior. Next thing is, which I have faced and I have seen also, that when customers generally ask you, or the first initial communication starts off, most of the time this happens after having a long discussions and understanding that, okay, you might be the right person for them. Few customers, or you can say, okay, 50-50, or majority of customers starts negotiating about, the consultation, about the product, the material cost. Now here, I would be recommending you that if you are strong enough, if you are clear enough, and if you are already making a loyal deal, never feel shy of putting it across upfront. So always be clear with your pricing, always be clear with your rate card, and always be very, very explicit with what are you going to charge and with what payment terms. I would always strongly recommend you that never compromise with your standard basic pricing. If you think that this is going to take your this much of efforts and this much of inputs, so and gradually, just for the sake of taking the work, if you are compromising with your fees, eventually what will happen that you will be compromising with the quality of work, which is never going to work out for you. So put it very straight upfront with your client that see, this is what my input and investments are, and I cannot work with loss. And this is something which I would be requiring. Be honest with your client. Trust me, honest clients and honest service providers always build a fruitful business. This always comes back. So this is the thing, this is the key point I have already faced, I have worked with, and I have actually uh, because of this kind of you can say thumb rule, I have seen a lot of things working out in a favorable manner for me. So always ensure that client can, as already said, client can rely upon you. Client, basically you need to build the confidence factor. And with the behavior and the right amount of approach, approach, you will be able to do this. This is not a kind of rocket science which is very extremely like complex or not able to be done. For this, you need to put your rate card very, very explicitly. Your negotiation skills should be working in that manner that when you are putting your pricing across, then there should be some of the negotiation which is not putting your profits into losses, which should be very clear. And then always ensure that even if clients somehow manage to negotiate more with you, never compromise with the quality without confirming it to the client. Don't cheat with the client. That is never going to work out, never ever. And third thing which want to put across that this business of interior, especially in residential B2C, this actually includes lot of emotions. This is a very sensitive business, okay? Because client, this I always says this to my designers, to my followers also, that see, try to understand the fact that this can happen with anyone. The client for which you are trying to start, or might be you can say about to start the job, might not have seen their own home, might not have purchased their own home from last 2 3 generations. This is also possible, and now they have been dreaming of their own home, and for which they might be dreaming for more than 10 to 15 or even 20 years. So this is becoming very sensitive matter for them. Plus, let's say minimum cost of property in any metropolitan city where interior designers are working is nowhere less than 80 lakhs. Now, 80 lakhs of properties, 15 years of emotions, and then your interior work amount might be, let's say, 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs. Somehow, so let's assume that it is happening almost like 1 CR, 1 crore. So just think about this in a very diligent manner. This client is investing a lot in terms of money also. Plus, in terms of emotions, they are very, very sensitive. So I always says this, and I'm again putting it across here also. This interior designing industry has only two pathways. One is towards blessing and another is towards curse. There is nothing in middle. So you are either going to get blessings or you are definitely going to get curse only if you are not serving your client rightly. So what I mean to say that serving a client rightly. So a lot of times this happens that client asks for something very much out of the box, out of their fantasy, or let's say when they are getting their home done, they are very sensitive, they are very emotional, very excited. Sometimes they ask for some kind of a kind of concept which you have never done earlier. Always take your time if you are doing something new. Don't put across a nod or a yes immediately without even searching, studying, or researching about it. Always take your time. There is no harm in agreeing with the client that you have never done it earlier. But this is extremely harmful if you are committing over without doing any research and then actually making it a wrong turn. Because as I told, this is not only about money, it is also about emotional investment. So take your time and be upfront with the client that you need 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month to go through it, to study it, to research over it, and then you will be putting up the right kind of team and right inputs to get it executed. That way, your client will again, you will again be building a high amount of reputation. with your client, because client would be definitely going to realize it one day or another that yes, you, instead of wasting their money in your experimentation, you studied about it, you researched about it, and then once you felt confident, then only you put their money. This is something which I want to make you understand, that this is going to work out very well for you, very well. And this actually gives a lot of confidence about you to customer. So always remember this, that never put the money in, never put your client's money in what you have never done and what you are not confident with. Now, these are few points, and further moving forward, one more thing I would like to add here. So this also happens a lot of time when clients reaches out to you. Let's say you are doing a job, or even you are doing freelancing or studio, kind of, if you're running a interior designing studio. So you need to be very, very careful about that. How many number of users are there who are going to use the property for whom you are designing the property? Okay. And when you are starting the designing work, so you need to be very, very clear with that. They should be feeling confident with while talking to you. They should be feeling at ease. It should never be a kind of communication where you are always putting the restrictions of time and then your schedules, and they are every time feeling that you are not having but like you don't want to spare time with them, you don't want to spare time on their thoughts. So this I have seen a lot in my practice when I am managing team of designers, and generally in almost every companies, designers get some stipulated time, okay, to serve the client for a design discussion meetings. Now in freelancing also same thing works. You cannot spare a whole day with the client discussing about their crockery unit. I can understand that, but how to do this? Like, if you are having, let's say, 3 to 4 hours to discuss about the 2 BHK design proposal, so it is very simple. You need not to put the whole day, but the 2 3 hours of time which you are putting, that should be full of your interest. You should not be doing it if you're not feeling like energetic about it, if you are not feeling good about it, and if you're not confident about it. First of all, go through the proposal before presenting it. Are you confident? Is it matching the demands of the client? Whatever discussions you had during the previous initial discussions with the family members, with the users, are is the proposal matching with those expectations? So for such kind of things, you need to always jot down a proper list of pointers they have given to you in the initial meeting or last meeting. Share it across with the client that these pointers are going to be the agenda of the next meeting, which is happening, let's say, today. This way you will keep your client aligned with you. Okay, they would not be facing some kind of surprises that, okay, what has come today. This should not have happened. So for this, you will be only taking care of client, because client is might be getting their first home done with the interior designer, but you are not making the first home. So always be clear with that. What are you going to put in the next meeting with them? So to put the, as I told you, you can share the minutes of the meeting which you did previously, irrespective of what kind of meeting it was. Let's say it was a site visit, the very first time you met with the client, and client's family member told you some n number of items or articles to be put across. So to start with, how you going forward? You can, because this happens a lot of times that clients have like hundreds of ideas for one space. So how would you control this kind of things? So what you should do for this, what I have found that a very, very, very strong and very helpful, you can say, working out method, do the mood board discussion. So mood board discussion actually regulates a lot of things, and help you planning and zoning of the space. And when you define the furniture layout without even any civil change, because this happens a lot of time that in makeover projects, customers generally ask that, okay, I don't want civil work, but I want whole woodwork to be changed and makeover, give the makeover to the furniture and things. So for such kind of proposals, such kind of work scope or projects, what you need to do is ask the client to share across every single reference they are finding good enough, which they are finding that it is matching to their taste. Now, again, another challenge comes up to the designer for these kind of cases. When we ask customer to share the references, they simply flood up the WhatsApp. This is not the right way of asking it. So how to again regulate and control these reference images? So it can be very done very smartly and in a very proper manner. So one, you can ask them to share it across over the email address. So ask them that, okay, whatever images they have, they can consolidate them in a PPT one. If that you don't want, if you think that they won't be able to make a PPT, ask them to make folders, room name wise folder. So let's say if they are having two BHK. So bedroom one, which is MBR, bedroom two, which is KBR, kids bedroom, and then living room, dining room, and then washroom one or two, and then foyer area. And apart from that, if there is any false ceiling designs or flooring patterns, depending upon the work scope which you are discussing. Or let's say in their master bedroom or any bedroom two, they might be having a special balcony or window from which they are expecting something more. So for all these spaces, ask them to define a folder, and then in each and every respective folder, they can put across their references. So now assume that, okay, they would be putting 20 references each space. Now you have got the images through email. And also you can put across that they are having certain threshold before which they need to share across all the references with you. So it should be one-time sharing, be it after 3 days or 2 days. But there should be a defined turnaround time for this. And also keep them educated that once you are sharing the references, you will not be able to take again another fresh set of references, because otherwise it is not going to end up at any point of time. Then you will not be able to close the designs at any point of time. So be very clear with these kind of things. Now, how we do in generally in corporates, so we have defined a set of timelines. We always, while booking the order, while confirming the order with the client only, we put it very straightforward, very across that, see, in these many number of days, we will be closing up the designs. And then when we put it across to the customer that, okay, let's say some 30 days we will be taking for designs. So we will be providing them the 30-day schedule also, that what will be done on first day, second day, third day, reaching out to 30th day eventually with the design closure. So this is how industry works. And when you're working, you are freelancing, always make sure that you are sharing the schedule with your client. So this will definitely going to help you with keeping your client aligned with your expectations, rather than you juggling up with the client and never ending up with the design discussions, which is going to take a huge resource from you in terms of designer's time as well as customer satisfaction. Second thing which actually happens with when design discussions are not controlled or when design timelines are not controlled, that let's say you have already cleared 40 or 50% of design proposal, but when your time limitation is not there, generally what happens, clients keep on searching and researching over the internet, and eventually what happens, they end up with even disapproving that 40-50% of designs as well. So it eventually becomes zero. So you are again starting from back to square one. So to control this, you need to have a predefined slot and predefined design timeline schedule, so that you can actually give small alerts to your client that, see, we are here at this point of time, and we would be closing this discussion by this point, that point of time, with this room or this space or this much of structures of designs. This is how you will be able to regulate. And now, because when you have already educated your client, when you have already pre-informed your client before the booking, so even if they would be having any restriction or any disagreement, they would have told that to you before the booking. But now, when you have already educated them, and after that they made the booking, so they will not be able to even put a denial on this. You got my point? So always keep a client pre-informed about your terms and conditions, about your expectations as well. That is how you will be matching their expectations. And as I told you, whenever you are giving them the design meeting discussions for meetings, always, be it time restricted, be it date restricted, be it schedule restricted, but never it be quality restricted. It has to be extremely of top-notch quality. Client should be definitely feeling that, yes, you are putting your complete best part into it. First, second, you are feeling interested. You are actually taking pain. You are interested in saving their money,
And fourth, but not the last and not the least, it should be always that client should be having this feeling that yes, you are trying to give them the best also, which is available in this budget. Okay, so this is also a very important aspect. It should never be feeling to the client that you are only putting across the money altogether without even taking charge of that they have the limited budget also. So you should also make them realize now how to do this, that client is always feeling that yes, you are taking care of their budget and their pocket. So how I will, what I have done in my practice and what I have been implementing also with my designers now in corporates, that I always insist of that whenever my designers are showing any proposal to the clients, so they are showing it with the current quote as well. So in spite of, let's say you are giving, there is a 30 lakhs of client and you might be might be you are giving 4 discussions to the client for design discussion. So in these 4 discussions, 4 quotations must be out. 5 better, 6 more better. Okay, but always think that whenever you are discussing or about to discuss a new proposal or with the iteration or revisions, always make sure that you are getting the quote right and estimated with the design proposal. So how we are doing, how I am suggesting my designers to do, that 90% of the discussion part is around the designs, and then 10% is around the quotation, which is currently coming according to the revision of design, according to the proposal of design. So this is how clients are always aware of, okay, where their budget is also heading in terms of when they are asking for some design demands, or they are asking for some iterations, or they're asking, let's say, for additions or de-scoping of any article. This is one. And apart from this, what I have felt has worked very well for us as a designer, that whenever you are suggesting, whenever you are taking the work scope from the client, whenever you are jotting down the work scope before initiating 3D modeling, always categorize the work scope into 2 categories. So one will be mandatory requirement, which are like definitely needed by the client, for which they want to, like basically which is required to ensure the functionality of the space. And second is good to have. So good to have means these might be something which is basically making the space looking more beautiful, or let's say this is something which is a kind of thing which a client only seeks for in the segment of, as I mentioned, good to have. So basically this is not mandatorily required, but if budget is allowing, if they are left over with some money, then only you should do it. Okay, and this is something which will going to help you a lot in regulating the budget at the last point of time when you are struggling with the design approval is stuck only because of budget. At that point of time, it is going to help you a lot. And this is basically pre-aligned also with the customer. Customer will also be aware of that, yes, they are already getting everything which they mandatorily required. And what you are trying to de-scope, or what you are trying to put across that, okay, this can be de-scoped or can be done at a later point of time, is only the in the range of good to have. Okay, so this way you will be definitely achieving the design freeze with their complete consent. Will be there, the client will be happy as well, and will be understanding your approach as well. So this is how things will be working in your favor. Now, these are the few expectations which I was talking about, what generally clients have. And now let's come to next part where client would be always comparing you even after booking your order, even after booking his order with you. So this also happens a lot. So let's say when client has given you their order, now they are discussing a lot of things with you. They might be discussing about their personal requirements also, very specific, and you are digging a lot inside their lifestyle as well, in terms of how they would be putting their clothes, in what part they would be putting which kind of clothes in their wardrobe, in kitchen what kind of spices they use, what is their lifestyle, and how what kind of jars they do have which they want to use in their new kitchen as well, might be pre-existing, or there there are so many mattresses. Clients are generally emotionally also attached with few of the articles which they want to definitely use in their new home even after the makeover. They don't want to dispose them of. So such kind of things you need to be taken forward. What I would every time recommend you, that when you are realizing that something is coming into the section of where client is emotionally attached with the thing, make a utilization of that, strategize it. So take their photographs of those articles, put them into your design proposals. And this is why I am putting across, this will be helping you two way. One, your client will be emotionally attached with the designs. Second, you will be making your designs in accordance with those articles, and you will not tend to skip those. Now, when you are already putting those articles into your consideration where client is emotionally attached, as I mentioned, so you will be again connecting more with the client. Okay, so that way client would be again putting across, like you would be putting across your stronger feet towards them. That is how things work, like more in your favor. So these are small tricks, you can say, or tips, how you basically generate and build more confidence with your customers. Now, what I was putting in my last communication, that when the client is regularly comparing you with market and like different service providers in their, let's say, in their society, so you should always ensure that the design presentation which you are discussing through design discussions, always keep on sharing those presentations with the client, and always make those presentations a good quality presentation. They should not be like only for the sake of discussion. They should be for the sake of post your discussion also. Client might be discussing those presentations with their friends, with their acquaintances, with their neighbors, and with other people who are also getting their job done from different service providers. Believe me, your design presentation works like your business card. If your presentation is good, if your presentation skills are refined, if your presentation PPTs are very well consolidated, very well articulated, they are going to give a nice impact on the person who has never met you even. And always ensure that you are putting some logo, some contact number, any information in the PPT, how client can come back to you, who has never met you. This also I have seen a lot of times when, let's say, your client is showing his design PPT to some of his neighbor, and his neighbor, without even interacting or checking with even your client, they directly are reaching out to you just because you have mentioned your logo, your website, your contact name in the PPT. So this is how they will be able to search you on the internet or on through any communication medium. So always ensure that you are putting across some communication channel, so that an unknown person also can reach out to you without even through the bridge in between. This is going to help you generate more business indirectly, and this is completely your organic lead. Excuse me. So this is about when you are sharing your design documents, your presentations, always make them a top-notch quality. If your PPTs are not ready, don't present them or don't share them. And one more thing I would like to add here, I have seen many designers who, instead of directly sharing the PPT, they generally tends to prefer to discuss on the 3D model first. So that they can make minor refinements in the designs then and there in front of the customer, and then they will be consolidating them into a design PPT. Now, however, I am not in very much of agreement with this kind of approach. But still, if you're doing that, always make sure that when the PPT is being shared, give some 10 minutes quick run through over the PPT to the customer. So that is how it works. It will work in your favor again. And while sharing the design PPT after the meeting, always make sure that minutes of the meetings are shared, because you need to put up the agenda of the upcoming meeting through these minutes. Now, the way with which I generally prefer to do the design discussions. So let's say you have met the client, and let's say after 5 days, you are going to have a design discussion meeting. Now you are preparing proposal. So what I would recommend you always to do, third day, you should be reviewing the first day, second day, you are making 3D. Third day, review it, get the quotation done. If it is getting extended for fourth day also, get the quotation done. Always make sure that estimation is ready with the design PPT. Now, when both the things are ready, publish them in PDF and share it on fourth day EOD maximum with the client. Now, why I'm putting this with so much emphasis? I have always seen that when customers are looking at the design presentations for the first time in the design meeting itself, they first of all will be taking their own time to understand the designs which you have given. in spite of it was discussed already with them verbally in the previous meeting on the 0th day, that what you are going to come up with, then they should be pre-aligned, isn't it? So what I am using with my designers, with my clients, first tool to align that client is minutes. So 0th day, let's say you met them with on site. So minutes of meeting, what was discussed on site, with the help of reference images, put it across that this will be your agenda of 5th day meeting. Now, 4th day, you are sharing that what we discussed on 0th day, minutes are attached. In the same email thread, you attach the PPT and put across to the client that, sir or ma'am, please find this design PPT along with the quotation, estimated quotation, and keep your queries jotted down with you beforehand when we are putting the meeting, which is tomorrow, 5th day, and at this time, if the time is also confirmed by the client, first half or second half. Okay, if the client has not confirmed the time yet, put them a reminder about that you are available in first half or second half, for which they can confirm the time and you will be scheduling it according to their convenience. But they should be coming beforehand with the queries jotted down. Now, give client homework. Why I am putting this word homework? So basically, what I have seen, that instead of making the client see your presentation in front of you for the first time, they feel a lot of surprises. They feel that they need to see the designs. They need to have a lot of discussions internally with their family. Okay, and for this, they definitely need their personal time. They don't want to discuss every aspect of the designs in front of you. Okay, for this matter only, I am putting across that always make sure that your design PPTs are shared before a day, and not a, then at least before a night, so that they can go through the design PPT, they can discuss it among themselves, and they can jot down their queries and then come up with the queries to you on the another day. Now, it is going to help you in one more way. Let's say you have given them some kind of design, which you have an idea in your mind, but they could not interpret it according to your approach. So they might be writing their query, okay, with their approach or with their misunderstanding or with their understanding. Now, on the next day, when you're having the discussion and when you are clarifying that query to them, so they will be able to realize that, yes, this is our designer is actually thinking in the stronger way than us. And it is again going to build your reputation. So this is how it is going to again help you only. So you need to take advantage of these kind of small things, small changes. I would recommend you all who are doing freelancing or even design practices, make sure that your design presentations are shared across a day, if not day, a night before, so that and your client, and inform your client on WhatsApp or any SMS that you have shared the PPT. They should go through it and they should do some homework, and then they should come up with the queries as well. Now, third benefit of doing this. So as I said, when client is looking at the design PPT for the very first time, so they tends to have, like, they tends to take some time to digest the designs which you have given. For this reason only, the discussion which was supposed to happen for 3 hours might get up to 5 to 6 hours also, because these additional 2-3 hours they will be taking to understand the design proposal. But if you are sharing it beforehand, this time is basically they might be taking it for 6 hours alone to discuss internally. But in this discussion, you are not included. You got my point. But the extract of this 6 hours discussion of personal client discussion and internal discussion is coming to you in the form of questions. That is how you are saving your time. One. Second, your client feels much more satisfied also, because after these questions are jotted down, they are being resolved by you. So that is how things will work extremely, extremely favorable to you. Okay. Now, fourth thing I would like to add, as I said, you need to add PDF of the design plus PDF of the estimation. Sometimes this happens that, let's say, client has given you the budget of 10 lakhs. But now, as per the design proposal, the quote is coming to, let's say, 15 lakhs because of the demand change. This can happen at any project. Okay. Now, in this case, never share the PDF of quote up beforehand with the client. It will only going to, you can say, spoil the deal. So how you can do it? You can put it in a smarter manner. that my quotation and estimation will be ready by the meeting time, and I will be taking it also within the meeting. Okay, so fourth day you are putting across the design PPT is shared, but estimation will be shared within the meeting because your estimation team or your estimation person is working on it. Or let's say you are working on it. You don't have any estimation person, you are only working on it. So it will take time. So this way, how it is going to help you? First, you need to present the designs in 90% of time, as I said. Present the designs, understand how much client is liking those. Okay. Now, while presenting the designs only, you will be able to understand how much your client has loved them or not loved them, liked them, how much they are aligned with the client choices. So that will be directly going to give you the confidence also that, okay, client is liking each and everything is aligned also. And now when might have put some luxurious element, you might have put some design elements which are costing something high. So how would I recommend you to do this? So let's say from budget of 10 lakhs, it has reached to 15. So always make sure that you are making two options for few articles which are costing way too high than the budget, and because of which budget is getting overshooted. So for those things only which are costing higher than the expected cost, for those you give two options. One is premium option, which client is going to like definitely because they have asked only for it. And second option, which you think can decrease the cost, can deflate the cost a bit. Okay. Eventually what you are doing, you are presenting two budgets instead of 15 lakhs only. You will be presenting one budget to 15 lakhs, one budget to 12 lakhs. Don't go to 10. It will eventually decrease the quality a lot in terms of aesthetics. Now, show both the options to the client with both the quotations in the design discussions. This way, your client will be much aligned with you. Now, might be possible client is strictly with 10 lakhs. So, okay. So then show them 12 lakhs budget and then take their inputs in what elements or in what rooms they are okay to compromise these 2 lakhs more. You got my point? This way, you are going to put across again the stronger approach, and maximum chances are that you are going to retain the project instead of losing out the project. I have seen so many cases where just because of the overshooting of budget and not putting the estimation in the right manner only, designer tends to lose the project. So present it correctly. If the customer's budget is restricted, which you are aware of, present two budgets instead. One choice according to the liking. Excuse me. One design proposal according to what they have asked you to make, which is overshooting their budget. And second is nearest to their budget, might be not according to the likings they were having. Now give them the choice to opt for. Might be possible they opt for something in middle also, and they try to extend their budget because they realize now that the budget they were giving to you was not fulfilling their demands completely. So this way also it works out really well. Okay, but now let's see another picture how other designers are doing it and falling into the trap of losing out the client. So what they are doing, they are putting across only one option, 15 lakhs. Eventually what is happening when they are presenting the designs, customer is liking everything. As soon as they are presenting budget, customer is started disliking the designer. Correct. They tends to say, you have increased our budget, we are not having this budget. Now only two things will happen. Either they will start negotiating same design, lower budget, or designer will eventually say, no, this is not possible. You got my point? So instead of this, go with two options. Believe me, you are going to retain the client also, and client will be happy also. Client will be in fact appreciating you for the efforts you made, extra efforts you made, and how you helped them. This word is going to come up from the client to you that you handled them very well. You helped them with their budget as well as their demands. And I have seen this also in my expert practice. In my experience, client has put even this across that they were the tough customer and designer handled them very perfectly. Even client is calling themselves a tough customer. So are you looking at the perspective? Are you looking at the kind of change which has happened because of only a small change in the approach? So this is all about today's discussion. And I hope you would have liked the discussion. I would be definitely helping you out if this session helped you, or you like, or you think that this session was helpful. You can definitely put more queries. I would be happy to help you with whatever experience I have and whatever I'm learning. And just goodbye to all of you, and keep designing good homes. Thank you. Thanks a lot.